He started his journey in Toastmasters International in April 2016, chartered the second club in Spanish in Houston, Texas, and currently is a VPE of Honduras Northwest. As for today, he is a DTM as one of the few members in Houston to get a DTM in Spanish. Last year, he joined POPs to begin a new challenge as a motivational professional speaker. In February, he had his first big opportunity to share an inspirational speech for a big audience that encouraged him to continue to this path to inspire others with his experience and knowledge in different business areas. Presenting a year in life, the power of time. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Jose Benacourt.
A year in life, the power of time. How do you measure a year in your life? I was inspired by the Broadway performance Red. The main song of the performance was Seasons of Love. And it goes by 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in life? By daylights, by sunset, by midnights, by cup of coffee. I have my own way to measure a year in my life. I would say many things, but by pounds, gain or lose, by how much money I made, how much I expense, by how many trips for pleasure, how many trips for business, how many books I read, how many times I work out, I exercise, how many tournaments I participate. Many ways, but one of them, very important, is how many times I went to church. I went to pray to God. Sometimes we forget about how important is time. And today, when we talk about time, it's a very powerful topic. Many people talk about time, and there's much information about time. But I have my own opinion about time. And I'm going to tell you, when I think about time, I think about my watch. Sometimes a moment. Sometimes a memory, sometimes past, or future, or even present. But the thing is, I want to share with you why time is so important, but also life. And sometimes we don't value and give really the value of life and time. I'm going to tell you, 30 years ago, I was traveling south of Texas, Harlingen, in a small town. I was in a business trip. And I got a phone call, very sad phone call. My mom died. And I had to go back to Mexico as soon as possible. And there was no such technology as we have today. At your fingertips, you can buy a flight ticket. No, that time you have a landline. You need to pick up the phone and start calling travel agencies to find a flight ticket back to Mexico. What a crusade. Nobody was able to help me. Then I decided to start calling directly to the airlines. And one of them, luckily, told me, hey, we have a flight from Brownsville to Mexico, but it's in 2 hours and a half from now. So you have to rush. And even they gave me a discount rate because of the situation. Of course, I packed as soon as I could. Then I went to start the car, and guess what? The car didn't start. Battery was dead. I need to knock the doors of the neighbors, find someone to help me to start the car, fast battery. Finally, I got it. I lost 20 minutes on that. Then I drove as fast as I could to the airport. I got into the airport. I was running to the gate, and the guy that was there just told me, the plane just took off 10 minutes ago. What? No way. Please help me. I need to go back to Mexico. He said, well, the only way I can help you is we can call to the nearby airports. There were 4 airports nearby, and see if someone else had any flight to go to Mexico. Let's try. And he was trying hard for me, but no luck. It took me 24 hours to get back to Mexico. I lost the funeral for my mom because time is not waiting. Time was not waiting for me. It was just keep running. And I got there. It was so sad, but I learned I learned the value of the time and the minutes. And if you want to know more about that powerful value of time, ask a swimmer or a runner. 1 second for them is so important in a competition. Is that the time important for you? Sometimes people say that time is money. If that is true, is there a store that you can go with money and buy time? And time is the only thing that it was given to us, to all humankind equally. Everyone has 24 hours a day. Do you know someone that has more than 24 hours? It was God's gift. He sent us this big box with a note inside. Time/life. It depends on you how long it lasts. And then we say, okay, we have a life. We have time. How we can improve that? How we can get more time? It's impossible. I was thinking about this. How I'm going to get more time in my life? No way, Jose. There is no way to get it. The only way you have to extend your life is having a good life. But for that, there's so many things that you have to do. Why? Because sometimes you are trading your time for money. Are you trading your time for money? I believe that everyone, when you have a job, a paid job, 8 to 5, you are trading your time for money. We need it. And are you controlling your time? And you say, well, maybe. No, your boss is controlling your time. And you know what? My wife is controlling my time too. Because when I decided to marry her, of course, I decided that I'm going to give her my time. So now she's controlling my time as well. But then, this is, as I said, a broad concept. And when we talk about control time, do you think that probably average person is going to live 75 to 85 years? And what happened in that lifetime? 30% of that time, you are going to sleep. Another 8%, you are going to eat. Think about that. 8% of your lifetime, you are going to spend eating. Another 8% you are going to use for your basic needs. And then another 12%, you are going to use your time working, performing any kind of job that you're going to trade for money. There is 42% left. What are you going to do with that 42%? Sometimes we have a lot of activities and we have an agenda and we have probably a big plans, but we procrastinate. We don't do those things, and we give importance probably to nonsense activities or something that is not really giving any accomplishment for you or for your important things in life. I remember 20 years ago, to give you the importance of life, 20 years ago, I was at the top of my career. I was a top executive, management, having la vida loca, working 12 to 14 hours a day, having big meals, every restaurant, name it, the best restaurants everywhere, drinking, smoking cigarettes, no exercising. Guess what? Very soon my body started claiming, say, the production machine. I went to the doctor with a lot of headaches, migraine. Immediately they start putting all these things in my body. They call EKG. And then they took a blood test and they sent it to the lab. And then a couple hours later, the doctor said, Jose Antonio, you are dying. You are about to have a heart attack. What? Yeah. I'm afraid to let you go from my office. You can die immediately. Do you have life insurance? It was very dramatic. First, you need to lose weight, 40 pounds. You need to start having good eating habits. Stop eating like you are eating now. You need to stop drinking, to stop smoking, and eventually start doing some exercise, little by little. Are you willing to do that? Do you want to live? Wow. I was devastated with that, and I hit the bottom. And when you hit the bottom, what happened? You start understanding and you start valuing your life, your family, your wife, your children, your friends. You don't need to go and hit the bottom to start doing those life-changing things and start getting more focused on what is important in your life. But sometimes we don't do it because we are procrastinating and do simple exercising. And I'm going to give you a key. At some point, I read this book from Franklin Covey about time. And there's a matrix that you can organize your time. And the first quadrant is like, what is important and what is urgent? And I call this with the letter A. And then the second quadrant was like, what is important but not urgent? And I classify with the letter B. And then the third quadrant was what is not important but is very urgent. And many of us are there just doing that. And then the fourth quadrant, the letter D, what is not important and not urgent. But I want to concentrate in the quadrant B because it's where your purpose of life is. It's where your dreams are. It's where your family, friends, where are your dreams are there in the quadrant B. What is important in your life? Not in the quadrant A, where you are extinguishing fires all day long, and when you do a lot of stuff all day, and then at night, what you're doing, well, I did too many things, I'm so tired. But what accomplish? Nothing. Sometimes when you are in the C quadrant, same case. You've been devastating, doing nonsense stuff. But the worst case is when you stand on the quadrant D, social media, watching TV, toxic friends that are just dragging your energy, nonsense conversations. You name it. What is all those that are time eaters for you? So what you can do is create a list, an inventory of tasks, activities, problems. And then when you have that list, you start classifying A, B, C, D. And sometimes when you have all your A's, all your B's, all your C's, or all your D's, then what is first? What is the priority on each? To do that, you can classify them by risk and possibility. And when you put them from 1 to 10, what is the risk of this is going to become a bigger problem? Or what is the possibility that this happen or not happen? When you start doing that, let's say that you have risk of 8 and possibility of 10, that means 80, right? So it goes with 8. And then when you have another one that is probability 9 and risk 10, then it's 90, so that goes on top. So that way you can organize all your activities and your tasks during the day so you can be more productive and focus what is really important to you. There's another story, how we need to wait too much to start really doing what we have to do, the important things. A guy like me, middle-aged, working class, working all his life, dreaming always to win the lottery. But he was buying every single week, goes to the store to get his lottery ticket. Finally, that day came true. He won the lottery, $445 million. When he got the notice that he won the lottery, he was shocked. He was almost heart attack. He was incredible, almost fainted. He couldn't believe he won it finally. All his dreams won't come true now. And he said, I couldn't believe it. Finally, he went to the lottery. In fact, he won the prize. He collected his prize, without taxes and all that. He got just about $300 million. That's okay. He went to the bank, deposited the money, and up to that point, when he deposited the money to the bank account, he believed it. And he started with all these dreams coming true again, and his head started exploding. He was overwhelmed thinking, houses, car, jewelry, all these fancy trips, traveling, give money to the poor, help charities. Finally, he got home with this excitement. And he got home, opened a champagne bottle, sit in a sofa, and start drinking, trying to relax. A couple hours later, he started falling asleep, and passing midnight, all of a sudden, someone, he thought he was dreaming. And once again, he wakes up. He said, wow, someone knocking at the door at this time. Was after midnight. He went, opened the door, and it was the Grim Reaper right there. He was shocked. He was frozen. He looked at the Reaper, Like, no, this cannot be possible. I just won the lottery. I'm a millionaire. It's not my time. And the reaper just standing there. This is your time. I come for you. No, there's no possible. I offer you $10 million. Give me 10 years, please. I need to do many things. I just have all this money, all these things that I want to do. Please, please, give me time. The reaper, he kept bargaining, giving him 5 million for that, 15 million. He was trying as hard as he even tried to bribe the reaper. And the reaper just standing there. Finally, after a little bit of time, the reaper gave him 5 minutes for all his fortune. And with those 5 minutes, he grabbed a piece of paper, a pen, and started writing down. If you are reading this, it's because I'm dying. I'm dead. And I want to tell you, you don't have to wait to win the lottery to fulfill your dreams. You can do it now that you are alive. Love everyone and everything around you. Live your life with passion. Don't wait, because you never know when the reaper is going to come for you. What you learn from that? Take action. Do it now. Don't wait. Don't be procrastinator. Life and time are my best teachers. Life had taught me to use and invest my time wisely. Life had taught me, time had taught me to invest my time and my life wisely, And then time had taught me to enjoy and appreciate life. Time management is critical to enjoying life. Let's balance our time and what is important. Don't lose sight on what is important. Faith, love, family, and friends.